Picture this. It's 3 a.m. at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. Suddenly, the base erupts into controlled chaos. 6 of America's most deadly stealth bombers, each worth over $1 billion, are being prepped for an urgent mission. These aren't just any aircraft. These are B-2 Spirit bombers, the ghosts of the sky that can slip past enemy radars like shadows in the night. But here's what's sending shockwaves through military circles worldwide. 30% of America's entire stealth bomber fleet just vanished from U.S. soil and reappeared 8,000 miles away on a tiny island in the Indian Ocean. What you're about to discover goes far beyond what the mainstream media is reporting. While headlines scream about tensions in the Middle East, the real story involves a chess game between superpowers that could reshape the entire region. The question isn't just why these billion-dollar war machines were deployed, it's what happened next that has military experts calling this the most significant show of force in decades. But before we dive into the classified details that just became public, there's something even more stunning about this operation. One of these stealth bombers never made it to its destination. During the most critical phase of this deployment, disaster struck at 35,000 feet. What happened in those terrifying moments above the Pacific Ocean reveals just how dangerous this mission really was. The story I'm about to share with you connects dots that nobody else is talking about. From secret bunker buster bombs that can penetrate 200 feet underground, to emergency landings that could have changed everything, to a sudden withdrawal that caught even Pentagon insiders by surprise. This isn't just military news. This is a glimpse into how modern warfare really works when the stakes are highest. Stay with me, because what happened next will completely change how you think about America's military power and the shadow war that's been playing out while the world wasn't watching. The morning of March 24, 2025 started like any other at Whiteman Air Force Base. But by noon, something extraordinary was happening. Aviation enthusiasts tracking military flights noticed something unprecedented. Not one, not two, but 4 separate B-2 Spirit bombers had taken off from Missouri, all heading west toward the Pacific. These weren't training flights. The call signs told a different story. Pitch 11, Pitch 12, Pitch 13, and Pitch 14. 4 of America's most advanced war machines were on a mission that would soon capture the attention of every military analyst on the planet. If you're impressed by America's military precision and want to see more content about our incredible armed forces, show your support by typing America Strong in the comments below. Now, here's where this story takes a dramatic turn. These B-2 bombers weren't just flying anywhere. They were heading to one of the most strategic locations on Earth, Diego Garcia, a small island in the Indian Ocean that most people have never heard of. But every military planner knows by heart, this isn't just any military base. It's America's unsinkable aircraft carrier, positioned perfectly between the Middle East and Asia, beyond the reach of enemy missiles but close enough to strike anywhere that matters. But something went terribly wrong during this critical mission. At 35,000 feet somewhere over the vast Pacific, Pitch 13 experienced what military officials called an in-flight emergency. Picture this. You're piloting a $2 billion stealth bomber, loaded with classified equipment, flying over thousands of miles of open ocean, and suddenly your aircraft starts malfunctioning. The crew had mere minutes to make a life-or-death decision. The professionalism of our Air Force pilots shone through in those critical moments. Instead of panic, there was precision. Instead of chaos, there was control. Pitch 13 declared an emergency and diverted to Joint Base Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Airport fire and rescue teams scrambled to the runway, not knowing what to expect. When that massive flying wing touched down safely, it was a testament to the incredible training and skill of our military aviators. Meanwhile, Pitch 11, 12, and 14 continued their journey across the Pacific. Australian air traffic controllers tracked them as they passed over the continent, accompanied by KC-135 tanker aircraft, ensuring they had enough fuel for the marathon flight. These weren't just aircraft movements. This was a carefully orchestrated show of American air power. The destination itself tells us everything about the seriousness of this operation. Diego Garcia has been America's secret weapon in the Indian Ocean for decades. With 4 specialized climate-controlled hangars built specifically for B-2 bombers, this remote island can house and maintain these delicate stealth aircraft in one of the world's most challenging environments. Each hangar protects the bomber's radar-absorbing skin from the tropical climate that could otherwise compromise their stealth capabilities. But here's what makes this deployment truly remarkable. Military experts immediately recognized that 6 B-2 bombers, that's 30% of the entire US fleet, being deployed together was unprecedented. These aircraft don't travel in packs. They're too valuable, too rare, and too important to risk in large numbers. The fact that the Pentagon authorized such a massive deployment sent a clear message to anyone paying attention. This wasn't a routine training exercise. Let me put this in perspective for you. The United States Air Force only has 20 B-2 Spirit bombers in total. Each one costs more than many countries' entire defense budgets. When you factor in maintenance schedules and training requirements, only about half of these aircraft are available for actual missions at any given time. So deploying 6 of them simultaneously represents an enormous commitment of America's most advanced military assets. The timing couldn't be more significant. While these ghost-like bombers were making their way across the Pacific, tensions in the Middle East were reaching a boiling point. The Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen had been launching increasingly aggressive attacks on international shipping lanes. Iran's nuclear program was advancing despite international sanctions. The entire region was a powder keg waiting for a spark. What happened next proves just how serious the situation had become. Within days of the B-2s arriving at Diego Garcia, they were put to work. American military officials confirmed that these stealth bombers began conducting combat operations against Houthi targets in Yemen. This wasn't just saber-rattling. This was America's most advanced aircraft engaging in active combat operations. The choice of weapon systems tells us everything about what these bombers were designed to target. The B-2 Spirit is the only aircraft in the world certified to carry the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb designed to destroy the most heavily fortified underground facilities. These aren't weapons you use against surface targets. These are designed to reach deep underground bunkers, command centers, and facilities that conventional weapons simply cannot touch. Military analysts immediately understood the implications. If you're deploying weapons designed to penetrate hundreds of feet underground, you're not just thinking about current operations in Yemen. You're preparing for scenarios that involve much more hardened targets, the kind you might find in Iran's nuclear facilities. The response from Iran was swift and telling. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that any attack on Iranian territory would result in a strong reciprocal blow. Iranian military leaders began hinting at preemptive strikes against American assets in the region. The rhetoric was escalating, but so was America's military posture. At this point, our story takes another unexpected turn. While the B-2s were conducting their missions from Diego Garcia, the Pentagon was simultaneously rushing additional military assets to the region. The USS Carl Vinson Aircraft Carrier Strike Group was diverted from Pacific operations to join the USS Harry S. Truman, which had its deployment extended specifically to maintain American naval presence in the Middle East. But aircraft carriers and bombers were just part of the equation. F-35 Lightning II fighters, a 10 Thunderbolt attack aircraft, and additional support assets were all flowing into the region. This wasn't just a show of force, this was America preparing for multiple scenarios, from limited strikes to full-scale operations. The sophistication of this military buildup cannot be overstated. Every movement was calculated, every deployment had a purpose, and every asset was positioned to maximum strategic advantage. The logistics alone were staggering. Moving 6 B-2 bombers halfway around the world requires dozens of support flights, hundreds of personnel, and millions of dollars in specialized equipment. Here's where our story reveals something truly impressive about American military capabilities. While these operations were unfolding, C-17 Globemaster cargo aircraft were making continuous flights between the United States and Diego Garcia, carrying everything from specialized maintenance equipment to classified munitions. KC-135 tanker aircraft were pre-positioned at strategic locations to ensure the B-2s could conduct long-range missions without compromising their operational flexibility. The scale of coordination required for this operation showcases why the United States military remains the most capable force on the planet. Think about it. Coordinating the movement of billions of dollars worth of aircraft across multiple time zones, ensuring they arrive combat-ready and immediately integrating them into ongoing operations. This level of military precision is something only America can achieve. Now, here's where this story takes its most dramatic turn. After weeks of successful operations, after demonstrating American resolve and capability, something unexpected happened. In mid-May 2025, Pentagon officials quietly announced that the B-2 bombers were being replaced by B-52 Stratofortresses. The ghosts of Diego Garcia were heading home. This sudden change in aircraft wasn't random. It coincided with President Trump's announcement that a deal had been reached with the Houthis to halt their attacks on American vessels in exchange for a pause in U.S. strikes. The mission that had brought these advanced bombers halfway around the world was evolving, and so was America's military posture. But here's what makes this development truly fascinating. The B-52 bombers taking over from the B-2s represent a different kind of message. While the B-2s whispered stealth and precision strikes, the B-52s speak with the voice of massive, sustained firepower. These are aircraft that can stay aloft for hours, carry enormous payloads, and conduct extended operations that would be prohibitively expensive with stealth bombers. The transition also reveals something important about how modern military operations work. The initial deployment of B-2s served multiple purposes, demonstrating American capability, conducting precision strikes against high-value targets, and sending an unmistakable message to Iran about what could happen if negotiations failed. Once those objectives were achieved, more cost-effective platforms could take over routine operations. Throughout this entire operation, one thing remained constant: the professionalism and effectiveness of American military personnel. From the pilots who safely handled the in-flight emergency over the Pacific, to the maintenance crews who kept these complex aircraft operational in challenging tropical conditions, to the support personnel who made it all possible. Every aspect of this operation showcased why the U.S. military is respected and feared around the world. The intelligence gathering aspects of this deployment cannot be ignored either. Having B-2 bombers positioned at Diego Garcia provided American intelligence agencies with unprecedented opportunities to monitor activities throughout the region. These aircraft carry some of the most advanced sensors and communication equipment ever developed, turning them into flying intelligence platforms when they're not dropping bombs. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of this entire operation was how it demonstrated America's ability to project power anywhere in the world on short notice. The message to both allies and adversaries was clear. American military might can appear anywhere, anytime, with devastating effectiveness. This isn't just about the Middle East, it's about maintaining global stability through strength. The economic implications of this operation also tell an important story. Moving 6 B-2 bombers and their support infrastructure halfway around the world costs tens of millions of dollars. Each flying hour for a B-2 costs approximately $130,000. The fuel alone for these operations represents a massive investment. But this demonstrates America's commitment to protecting its interests and allies, regardless of cost. What makes this story even more compelling is how it intersects with broader geopolitical developments. While these bombers were conducting operations from Diego Garcia, diplomatic negotiations were continuing with Iran over its nuclear program. The presence of aircraft capable of destroying underground nuclear facilities undoubtedly influenced those discussions. Sometimes the most effective weapons are the ones you don't have to use. The technological superiority demonstrated throughout this operation deserves special recognition. The B-2 Spirit remains one of the most advanced aircraft ever built, despite being designed in the 1980s. Its stealth capabilities allow it to penetrate the most sophisticated air defense systems. Its precision strike capabilities can eliminate targets with minimal collateral damage. Its global reach means no target is beyond American military capabilities. As we near the end of this remarkable story, it's worth reflecting on what this operation achieved. Yemen's Houthis were forced to negotiate. Iran was reminded of American military capabilities. Regional allies were reassured of American commitment. and potential adversaries worldwide were given a demonstration of why challenging American interests comes with significant risks. The men and women who made this operation possible deserve our highest praise. The pilots who flew these missions, the maintainers who kept the aircraft operational, the support personnel who handled logistics, and the commanders who orchestrated the entire operation, they all represent the best of American military excellence. This deployment also highlighted America's unique global military infrastructure. Diego Garcia, one of dozens of strategic bases around the world, provided the perfect platform for power projection. This network of bases, combined with American technological superiority and logistical capabilities, ensures that American military power can be brought to bear anywhere, anytime. The peaceful resolution of tensions with the Houthis, facilitated in part by this show of American strength, demonstrates that sometimes the best way to avoid war is to be thoroughly prepared for it. The presence of these advanced bombers, capable of devastating strikes, likely influenced the Houthis' decision to negotiate rather than continue their aggressive actions. Looking forward, this operation provides valuable lessons for future conflicts. The rapid deployment capability demonstrated here, the integration of multiple weapon systems, and the strategic use of advanced platforms all represent best practices that will inform future military planning. America's enemies have been given a clear demonstration of what they face if they choose confrontation over cooperation. The withdrawal of the B-2s from Diego Garcia in May 2025 wasn't a retreat. It was a successful mission completion, objectives achieved, messages delivered, and regional stability enhanced through the credible threat of overwhelming force. The bombers returned home having accomplished everything they were sent to do, without having to employ their most devastating capabilities. This entire operation stands as a testament to American military excellence, strategic thinking, and global leadership. From the emergency landing in Hawaii that demonstrated pilot professionalism, to the precision strikes in Yemen that showed tactical effectiveness, to the strategic messaging that influenced regional politics, every aspect of this deployment showcased why America remains the world's preeminent military power. Our armed forces continue to adapt, innovate, and excel in protecting American interests around the globe. The B-2 deployment to Diego Garcia will be remembered as a masterclass in power projection, strategic deterrence, and military effectiveness. It reminds us all why we can sleep safely at night, knowing that dedicated professionals are standing watch around the world, ready to defend freedom wherever it's threatened. If this incredible display of American military might impress you as much as it did me, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories about our amazing armed forces. These men and women deserve our recognition and support for the incredible job they do protecting our nation and our allies around the world.